All right, guys. 10 most brutal tortures in history. Oh, shit.
Strapped to a table, there's a goat in the room. A man enters, but instead of weapons, he carries a bowl of salt water. He soaks your feet and waits. The goat steps closer
What the
and
hell?
starts licking. You laugh at first, until your body starts convulsing. Laughter turns into pain, and then into something far worse. For thousands of years, humanity has explored one of its darkest obsessions: torture. From the Roman Empire's rat cages to the Spanish Inquisition's Iron Maiden, from molten lead and electric shocks to forced suffocation and flame,
Oh,
the
my
tools
gosh.
may change, but the cruelty remains the same. In today's episode, we'll journey through some of the most brutal and bizarre
shit.
methods
Ooh.
of torture and execution ever devised,
Yo, that's
and what they
crazy.
reveal about us.
Being
But
stuck
first,
inside
as
something like
always,
that.
viewer discretion is advised. We tend
Now, guys, torturing in itself is just, it's insane. I don't agree with it. I feel like no matter how much you torture somebody, you're not going to get the answers that you're looking for. I mean, and some of the times, they may not even have the answer that you're looking for. So you're really torturing them for no fucking reason. So that's kind of frustrating there as well.
to think tortures were typical of the Middle Ages and Inquisition, but the executioners of that era had enough sources to draw inspiration from. For example, ancient Romans carried out tortures using rats. Just imagine, you are lying on your back with your arm.
Oh, I remember this scene. This was from, I think, the original Fast and Furious. They put a bucket over. I wonder if this is going to be the same exact style. They put a bucket over it and they irritate the rat or just make it fucking piss it off to the point where they just go crazy and scratches up your. Here, I'll let it explain. Let's see if
Arms
this
and
is it.
legs tied up, and a cage full of giant rats is put on your stomach.
Yeah.
The executioner throws burning coals on the cage so that it starts heating up. The rats run around their prison squeaking, but there's no chance to get away from the heat. So
Oh,
they start
yeah, it's
digging
the
a
heat,
tunnel
that's
through your
right.
belly. They
Oh.
bite your skin and muscles and rip your bowels apart, making you go crazy with pain. And as if that wasn't enough, here's the cherry on top. The executioner places the burning coals right into the opened wound on your stomach.
Oh.
This torture has
Guys, could you imagine that? Just imagine, oh my gosh. You just have rats inside a bucket on your stomach burning alive. And all they're just trying to do is just get out, fight for their lives. And they're making a hole in your fucking stomach. Just scraping their way, scratching their way inside your stomach just to try to get out. And then on top of that, put coals right on the wound.
several variations. Sometimes the cage with rats was put on a person's head.
Nah, that's insane.
Sometimes prisoners were simply locked in a room, swarming with hungry rodents. But medieval executioners were worthy successors to ancient Romans. Just take a look at this lead sprinkler. It was filled with molten lead, boiling oil, resin, and even acid. Then
Oh
the
my
executioner sprayed the liquid all over the victim's naked body. The hot molten lead left severe burns on the skin. To make the suffering even worse, the executioner could pour the boiling liquid on the person's eyes or mucosa.
Oh.
But some really dreadful forms of torture don't even require weird instruments. A Colombian necktie was a popular means of punishment among drug lords in the 50s. Sometimes this invention is attributed to famous drug trafficker Pablo Escobar.
Oh,
But
shit.
in fact, the Colombian necktie already gained popularity when Escobar was only a child. Let's see what it is. At first, the victim had to be immobilized. Then their neck was cut. While the person was choking on their blood, the executioner stuck their fingers in the wound and pulled the tongue out.
What?
If the cut on the neck was vertical, that was a Colombian necktie. If it was horizontal, you had a Colombian necklace. But why did they need to invent such a sophisticated punishment when there's a way to torture someone simply and agonizingly long? Oubliettes are bottle dungeons that were built in medieval castles with one purpose in mind:
Guys,
to hold
what?
prisoners. These cells were usually narrow and very deep. Executioners threw victims to the bottom and closed the hatch. Inside an
See, that's something that I would go crazy. I couldn't imagine being stuck somewhere, inside of somewhere, and just not being able to get out. Oh my gosh.
Yet, there was no place to lie down or even sit. Imagine that you have to stand and can't move a muscle. Hours and days pass, followed by weeks. You can see an exit just a couple of meters away, but there's no way you can reach it.
And having to stand, you can't even sit down or fucking stretch out. Like, you have to stay in that one standing position for hours and days. Hell, fucking months. Yo, that is insane. Just kill me at that point.
You can only feel a searing pain in your stiff body and intolerable hunger. Sometimes spikes were placed on the floor of oubliettes to increase the victim's physical suffering even more. The most frequent guests of these dungeons were captive soldiers, and they stayed there forever. Medieval people were big fans of slow tortures. But it wasn't necessary to dig whole underground dungeons to turn someone's life into hell. Sometimes all it took was a fork. The medieval Inquisition used a heretic's fork to torture those who practiced the so-called wrong religion. A two-pronged fork was attached to the wearer's throat, with one prong pointing at the chin and the other just above the sternum. The prisoner had to constantly keep their head tilted back. A couple of hours spent in that position brought terrible pain to the neck. But as soon as the victim tried to lower his head, the sharp prongs impaled soft tissues beneath the chin. Some victims...
Look at what the fuck. Oh my gosh. Okay, now this is torture. I felt like I've seen this before. Like, just sitting there, having to hold your neck up in that position. If not, you're going to get straight fucking stabbed in the chest and underneath your neck is insane. Oh my gosh, guys.
Attempted to end their suffering once and for all by sharply bringing their heads down, but only made things worse. They didn't die, but continued to bleed as their bodies racked with even more horrible pain. However, cruel lingering tortures didn't go down in history together with the Middle Ages. In the 60s, in an Arkansas state prison, resident physician Dr. Rollins decided that prisoners weren't punished quite enough. Together with the prison superintendent, they developed the Tucker telephone. An inmate was brought into a hospital chamber. One electrode was attached to their big toe and another to their genitals. Then the physician cranked the handle of the telephone, which delivered electric shocks to the victim's body. But long-distance calls were the absolute worst. During them, several prolonged shocks passed through the inmate until the person lost consciousness.
Okay, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Out of everywhere you do, I mean, the toe, okay, I understand that. But the man's balls, the man's genitals, are you serious? Come on now, that's just fucked up. Like, torturing a man with shock is one thing, but doing it going straight through his balls is another thing. Oh my gosh, dude, like, why? It's crazy because some of these tortures, I bet, like to be able to sit down and actually think of this, there's got to be a couple wicked guys that just literally sit back and are like, let's come up with a new way to torture somebody. What can we do that's new? What's something new? I don't know. Let's shock the man's balls to death and fucking have him damn near have a stroke right there on the table. Like, fuck.
And although this method is utterly sadistic, sometimes executioners went even further. These are crocodile shears, a medieval instrument designed for especially brutal torture. It was heated in a fire and then applied to the victim's genitals and clamped shut. This punishment was reserved for the men.
Here we go again with the genitals. Leave him alone.
Who tried to assassinate the king. There also was a similar torture instrument made for women. The iron spider was used to rip the breasts from wives accused of adultery. Equipped with 4 iron claws, the device was heated up, and then the woman's breasts were fixed onto the claws. They were sharply pulled and literally tore the soft parts off. The victim was bleeding out, and even if she survived, she could still easily die later from all sorts of infections. But don't think these inhumane punishments for misdeeds were only common in the Middle Ages. Until the mid-19th century, in the Russian Empire, guilty soldiers were forced to run the gauntlet. The other soldiers were lined up in 2 rows on both sides of the road, forming a corridor, each of them armed with a pike, a whip, or a club.
Damn.
The victim was stripped from neck to waist and ordered to pass between the double row while his comrades were hitting him from both sides. The severity of the punishment differed depending on the severity of the misconduct. For instance, alcohol abuse led up to 500 blows, while a soldier who'd attempted to escape got up to 5,000. But sometimes...
Oh my gosh, 500 blows just if you get too fucking drunk too many times. One too many times. That's insane. That is insane. I mean, hey, I could understand if you're getting behind a wheel or something, like maybe getting a DUI or something like that, you know, because then you're putting other people's lives at risk. But I mean, if you're just on the street fucking drinking every fucking day casually, I mean, do you? Hey, have fun. Do what the fuck you want to do as long as you're not harming anybody else. But 500 strikes just for that, I mean, like, I don't know. To me, that's kind of a lot, but sheesh.
Torture became a full-scale public execution. The victim was forced to run the gauntlet back and forth again, and again,
look at him, couldn't even make it all the way
until
through.
he fell to the ground from exhaustion. While the soldier was still alive, his body was put on a sled or carriage, which was sent through the rows as many times as the man needed to finally stop breathing. But the most horrifying part is that running the gauntlet doesn't even rank among the top 3 most brutal torments created by humans. Flaying is one of the oldest form of tortures in history. Assyrians practiced it around 800 years BC. The executioner usually took a sharp knife and made a cut on the victim's shin and hips, then flayed off the skin piece by piece. Sometimes the body was hung up on a hook for convenience, or even impaled. When the whole thing was over, the person was left to slowly die. In most cases, they passed away within a few hours of blood loss or pain shock. But there were occasions when the victim was less fortunate and spent another few days in terrible agony, slowly dying of hypothermia and infections. A frightening end of life.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine just getting piece by piece of your skin ripped off and just fucking still being alive? Oh my gosh. See, this is why I say torture is not fun, bro. This is not something I recommend for anybody in any situation. Like, it's... Oh my gosh, this is insane, dude. I couldn't even think about that. I couldn't even... I couldn't even imagine.
A rack is a device consisting of a wooden frame with rollers on both ends. The victim's ankles and wrists were fastened to it, and then the executioner rotated the rollers. This pulled the muscles and joints to the point of causing excruciating pain. The person tortured on the rack ended up with countless dislocations, and their muscles stretched so much that they couldn't contract anymore. And as if there could still be any pain tolerance left, the executioner could also burn the victim's flanks with torches or slide hot coal between their adjacent toes, or simply take pincers and tear out the nails. But the worst thing that the rack torture produced was the sound. The snap of the cartilage getting ruptured, ligaments getting torn, and bones getting broken.
Just sitting there listening to the sound of your body just slowly coming apart and ripping apart. That is crazy. Oh my gosh, bro. What the... Yeah.
Sometimes other prisoners were brought to watch the process.
Oh, man.
And after they did, they quickly confessed to all their crimes. You may think...
Hell yeah, I would too. I'd be quick as hell to be like, listen, I'm fucking sorry. I didn't... Whatever the hell... I did not mean to do that. I am so sorry. Please, just let me go. Give me life, the remainder of my life behind a wall before dealing with this shit, bro.
This is it. There can't be anything worse than this torment.
No.
But wait until you learn about necklacing, which was popular in
I feel like I've
South
heard of this
Africa
one.
in the 80s. The victims who had to undergo necklacing were primarily criminals and illegal immigrants. Imagine that an angry crowd gathers around you. Your hands are tied behind the back with barbed wire, and on top of that, a rubber tire crushes your ribcage.
Damn.
The next thing you know is that the crowd drenches you with gasoline. Then, the next thing you hear is a cigarette lighter click. A few moments later, a searing pain swallows you completely. Under high temperatures, the tire starts melting and sticking to the skin. You'll stay conscious for only about 20 minutes, burning alive in molten rubber. Your body will keep smoldering and turning into charred remains for many hours after you actually die.
Oh.
But torture didn't end.
Being burnt alive is definitely one of the worst ways, I feel like, to die. Like, feeling that slow and painful death is fucking insane. Like, I would... Would you guys rather be burnt alive or drown? Drown to death. I don't know. I mean, me, I don't know. Both of them's kind of hard, but I'd probably say drown to death because I feel like that's just, you know, like, it'll get to a point where you might pass out before fucking, you know, dying, hopefully. I would probably pass out just by all the anxiety and everything. But I mean, same goes with fire, but I would just feel the fucking fire a lot quicker, a lot more. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that shit.
With fire and chains because Inquisition-era Europe had its own terrifying inventions. Imagine an iron sarcophagus covered with sharp spikes on the inside. A person is locked inside in a standing position, and they are slowly bleeding to death. That is the Iron Maiden.
What?
The classics of the medieval Inquisition. So, you've been accused of heresy and required to sign a confession. Of course, you're refusing. Then the executioner opens the door of the Iron Maiden and invites you in. What's going on with the person inside the sarcophagus? It's not a big deal at first. Spikes can damage the skin a little bit, that's all. But after spending half an hour in the same position, you'll want to move. In a few hours more, your legs will start to get tired, and your nose will most likely start to itch. After 20 hours in the Iron Maiden without food or water, you'll start losing consciousness from exhaustion and blood loss. But as soon as you pass out, you'll feel a sharp pain from dozens of spikes. It'll bring you to your senses, but not for long.
What?
You'll pass out and wake up from pain again and again.
Oh my gosh.
Are you ready to confess to heresy already? Take your time, because torture wasn't invented in the Middle Ages. The executioners of that time were inspired by ancient China. In the 200s BC, tickle torture was first used in China. It turned out to be so effective that it lasted for over 2,000.
Oh, just tickle me to death. Literally, just tickle me to death. Fucking tie me up and tickle me to death. That is crazy. If you're a very ticklish person, bro, this is probably one of the worst ways, one of the worst tortures you can experience. That's crazy.
It has many variations, but the most popular one looks like this. A person is tied to a table and their heels are wetted with salt solution. Then they let the goat come in the room. The animal is licking the salt off your heels and just tickling you. For the first couple of minutes, it'll be even kind of fun. But imagine that you keep getting tickled for an hour, then 2, then 3.
Yeah.
On your foot, there are about 200,000 nerve endings. From their constant irritation, even a slight touch to the heel will cause a twitch, uncontrollable laughter, and sharp pain. A way too long tickle torture can lead to a respiratory muscle spasm.
Oh my gosh.
And you'll literally suffocate to death with laughter. Another unusual torture that nomads loved very much was shearing. With its help, prisoners were turned into obedient slaves. First, your head is shaved until it's completely smooth. Then, a fresh piece of camel skin is taken and put on like a hat. So far, it sounds disgusting, but still tolerable. The worst is yet to come. Whoa. Your hands will be tied in a special stick structure that won't let you take this hat off. Then you will be left out for about 5 days in the middle of the desert. The camel skin, when exposed to the sun, will start to shrink and tighten the skull. After a while, the hair on the head will begin to grow back, but it will not be able to get through the shearing and will grow in. But executioners did not always have to leave a person alive. It's time to tell you about the deadliest tortures in history.
What the fuck?
For this purpose, Let's go back to ancient China. But this
Ooh.
time, not to the torture basement, but to the bamboo grove. We'll need ropes to hang a person parallel to the ground, and a knife to sharpen bamboo shoots. Bamboo grows very fast, up to 1 meter per day. They just hang you over such a patch and wait a few days.
Oh my gosh.
And its stems are strong enough to pass through the human body.
Damn.
Bamboo will now haunt my dreams. But
That's insane. That's insane. Because if you think about it, as it's growing, like imagine it grows like halfway in your body and it's just sitting right there to the point enough to where it doesn't fucking kill you, but it punctures you and it fucking is in your fucking skin. Oh my gosh. That shit is crazy. They come up with some crazy ass tortures, man. Oh my gosh.
don't think this is the most painful torture, do you? Remember when the Inquisition locked you
I don't
up
know.
in the
We've seen
Iron
some
Maiden?
pretty
In
painful
ancient
ones.
Rome, the copper bull was used instead. There's not much room inside, so you'll have to lie bent over. But the uncomfortable position is the last thing you'll be thinking about. As soon as the door on the copper bull's belly closes, they'll start making a fire underneath it. The only chance for salvation is to kick down the door and escape. But doing it in a narrow, overheated bull's belly won't be easy. It'll take years of training to thrust it down with your hand.
Damn.
It will be more effective to keep slamming the door with your feet. You're probably not the first person to be roasted in that bull, and the lock has been damaged before you. A few kicks, and you're free.
Huh.
No documented cases
Interesting.
of execution by growing bamboo
Interesting.
or the copper bull torture have been found by scientists. They were probably just legends that were used to intimidate people. But the next torture I'm going to tell you about is extensively described in documents.
That one was a little bit crazy.
For you to
Being
be
stuck in a
sentenced
bowl.
to execution by elephants, it was enough to be late on taxes.
This is
Execution
insane.
elephants were trained not to kill a person immediately, but first to crush and rip off their arms and legs.
Oh,
In India, such executions were arranged as big
you're
spectacles.
training elephants to
Do
do
you
this
think
shit?
there's any way you can escape the giant legs of the animal weighing 4 tons?
Fuck no.
You can try to keep your arms and legs to your side and roll over on the ground, but there's a possibility that the elephant will step on you by accident. Or you can call your elephant and order it to crush the executioner, who gives orders to the killer elephant. But one more giant animal in the arena is unlikely to increase your chances of survival. From cages filled with rats to fire-heated bulls, from suffocating
insane.
dungeons
Look
to
at
the
that.
crushing weight of
Oh my
elephants.
gosh.
The history of torture is a reminder of how far human cruelty can go when it's given purpose, power, or spectacle. And yet, what's most
This shit's
disturbing
insane.
isn't that these methods existed centuries ago, but that echoes of them still surface in our own time.
Yeah.
Pain,
Guys, there's still
humiliation.
stuff like this going on. There's still so many different type of forms of torture that's going on in the world. I know China has some crazy ones. Fucking Iran, I know they have crazy ones. China was in one of these. There's so many places that are still doing some of these to this day. And it's insane, bro. It's literally insane. Living in the U.S., bro, we're in a country where it's like, all right, you either get locked up for the rest of your life or you get the penalty, the death penalty. So, like, I don't know. I would say we're definitely lucky in a sense, rather than being fucking drug addicts and fucking getting smacked 500 times by guys around you just for being not drug addicts, excuse me, alcoholics over excessive drinking. I mean, shit, here, if you drink too damn much, they have places to go to for that. Go to a fucking AA meeting. I mean, hey, if you think about it, though, if you drink way too fucking much and, like, you're trying to stop drinking, I feel like that's honestly, like, a way to, like, slow it down. Like, I mean, you get whacked 500 times by some fucking thick-ass metal sticks by a whole bunch of different people, bro, and like I bet you won't want to drink again. Like, that's just real, bro.
And fear remain tools in the hands
That is
of those
insane.
who seek control. So ask yourself, which is worse? The horrors of the past that scarred bodies forever, or the possibility that people today could still find new ways to do the same? If you've made it this far, let me know in the
Nice.
comments. Which method shocked you the most?
This
And
is a
don't
good
forget
video.
to subscribe for more